Buff Nations, what's going on? We've got some topics to talk about. For one, the governor of Colorado, well, the ordained governor of Colorado, had some stuff to say about this scathing BS article that came out about Colorado and Coach Prime and the culture there, which is fascinating about the way it dropped. We'll talk about that in detail, so make sure y'all stick around because we're going to dive in that in the second part. Because we want to lead off here, we're talking about the college football coaches poll just dropped, and of course the Buffs were not on the top 25, but there is still a chance, as there was some hope in there, some votes did come in. So let's dive into that and talk about that here on the Prime Time for College Football. All right, of course, like I said, we're going to open up about the coaches poll that dropped. And when I saw this, I was like, all right, I had a feeling that Colorado was not going to get the love that they needed. Granted, it's kind of deserving. Colorado still needs to prove itself. Buffs, going 4-8 last season, still need to prove itself as a team. But the good thing is we still got the quarterback who potentially could win the Heisman, as he's up there in the Heisman votings right now. But from there, one of the bigger things, though, for Colorado is that got some votes. As you can see, 2 votes on the additional side did come in for Colorado to make the top 25. Look, last year they wanted to doubt the Buffs, went out there and won some games, and then boom, guess what happened? Team got ranked, right? And so now the goal is to keep that continuity and keep that winning edge going, in which I think the Buffs can do, right? All they've got to do is make sure they make the magic happen. And I sense that the Buffs will be able to do that. And so keep that in mind when you see these rankings, when you see these polls and all of that, is that the Buffs still, no matter what, need to prove themselves. And so we'll ride with that. So hop in the comments. We would love to hear from you all. And so we got to talk about this wildness, though. This article that dropped, it dropped on Friday night. I'm going to explain what that means in a second. But first, we've got to thank our proud sponsor for this video here, our people over there at BetUS.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Are you looking for yourself a new book for this football season? Well, our friends over at BetUS has got the answer for you. They got you covered, man. Fast payouts there in the industry. They've got all the bets you're looking for. So, like, for example, you can see this graphic here. You've got Colorado over, under at 5.5 wins. Right now, the over is at minus 145, which tells me one thing, right? They know. BetUS, Vegas knows that Colorado's probably going to blow out that 5.5, which will outdo last season, which is a huge deal. So you got to take advantage of that, man. To me, that's easy money. That's free money. I've taken advantage of it. You should probably do that too. The beauty of it, though, is too, if you check out our link in the description below, BetUS is providing you with $125 bonus up to $2,000, right? There are restrictions that do apply, but look at the details. Awesome. And so it's fast and easy to deposit and withdraw process. Our link's in the description to give you that. They've got 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year, and they've got just about all the bets you can think of. So once you get past the college football season, you want to keep going, boom, BetUS got covered. So check us out. Link in the description below. They're the sponsor of this video. We appreciate them pulling up. Let's talk about the governor of Colorado, our guy, the long snapper, Camden Dempsey, who has been basically ordained as the governor of Colorado. He's beloved by everybody in the locker room, and he came out and he started defending Colorado immediately. Every opportunity he gets, he's out there defending it, right? He's pointing out some of the facts. But we got to talk about this article. So Athlon Sports dropped an article on Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Now, let me tell you something about this. This was obviously clickbait. It was obviously an article that was built specifically to make Coach Prime in Colorado look bad. And I'm going to say that for one reason and one reason only. I've worked in the industry of media for some years, and I kind of understand the way things play, especially old school. If you drop an article on Friday at 6 p.m., it's because you're trying to bury it. That means that you're not really trying to get much traction on said article. if this was as scathing of an article as Athlon was trying to say that it is, based upon all the words in there and the players saying that there were fights and people weren't getting along and all of that hoopla, guess when they would have dropped that? You guessed it. First thing Monday morning. Why would you drop an article this huge on a Friday night? Unless you want it to be buried by everything else going on, especially the Olympics. Monday morning's perfect because then that gives you something to talk about on Monday alongside the Olympics. That could be placed into the last part of the A block or even the B block. But no, they hid this. They didn't want you to read it. They didn't want you to really know about it. I got it popped across my desk on Friday, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to address this until Tuesday because they don't deserve that extra. But the team decided to go ahead and talk about it. And so shout out to our guy, the governor. He had something to say. Let's hear his words real quick.
Okay, just, I guess your response to that accusation.
Yeah, I think the headline there is like, enough is enough. We're a program that's in the spotlight, and with that, you're going to have a lot of lovers, which are great, but you're also going to have a lot of haters. And, you know, one thing that we recognize on this team is Coach Prime is an incredible man who is in the space of college sports. He's a businessman, he's a family man, and he's also shaking everything up. And with that, you're going to get people who don't like that. And so, I mean, these pieces, it doesn't have any impact on the team. We're still down there, horse blinders on, practicing hard. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, we're working our hardest. And, you know, we've got a coach who's changing the scope of college football, and that's all we care about. So.
Does that kind of create a us versus everybody type of feeling on some level?
I think so, but I think it's more so we just have to prove the world that what we're doing out on that field is what we're promising people. And I think that's something that this season is going to show. And, I mean, when those lights come on against North Dakota State and we're out there, I think people are going to see that all the media, the fervor, everything that's been going around us doesn't mean a lot when you're going to look at our record and see a pretty...
I love the fact that he basically pointed out that, look, once you see the record, once you see them dubs, guess what? Y'all ain't going to be talking about this mess or whatnot, right? And in that interview he did with the media after practice, Dempsey even talked about how, now granted, he's not the real governor. He's just named the governor, just FYI on that. But he talked about how the culture's good. Everybody's excited. He's like, the energy reminds him of post-TCU's victory. And the fact that they're there now as opposed to having to get there after a game, it's got everybody excited and energized. And so Prime is doing what he's supposed to do to get this success going. Prime is doing what he's supposed to do to get these players going. This staff is building up something special. And so losing our minds because this article decided to drop, which I'm telling you, this article dropped specifically to be hidden. Hey, man, I have nothing to say on that. So let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know your thoughts. How do y'all feel about this article, just the weirdness that goes behind it and all this stuff? Everybody trying to take shots at Prime. We want to hear from you all when it comes to that. All right, we got some more videos coming. We're going to start our series on the position groups as well as the upcoming games. So you're going to be bombarded with videos over the next 2 weeks. We want to talk about each game coming up. We're going to talk about each position group, probably do 2 position groups per video. And we're going to dive into what makes the most sense going into the season and how excited y'all should be. So check out the last video that we dropped up here. I always point out the wrong side. And then, of course, subscribe. We'll talk soon.